All right, we are restocking the shelves. I was going to tell you when we picked this movie, I didn't think. Honestly, I didn't think much of it other than like, oh yeah, that's a good one to like pick. But what I thought was interesting and kind of leads into a little bit of. I mean, I know like. Oh well, my name's Eli. I'm one of the co-owners of Top Shelf Video.
That old thing.
Yeah, that old thing.
And I'm Jaime.
And I know that this is, we do this for fun, and I'm still working on trying to. I don't know. Well, definitely by the time this comes out, or these come out, I will not have set up everything yet. But I'm trying to set up like I think I mentioned to you, like a little video rental space for like people that I know or people that I get to know here locally in my area that would maybe want to come rent for me. And I think part of that,
Sure.
is this idea that there's a couple of reasons for that. I think it's we've talked about it in the first season and in the first couple episodes of the importance of physical media over streaming because there's something tactile about it and having it and holding it, but then there's like the logistical like realities of streaming. And so the movie that we're going to talk about today is I think it's actually funny because I know we've brought this up a couple times, but this is another banger from 1984.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about Johnny Dangerously, which I know is is a big staple for you and I. But before we kind of get into the movie itself, when we talked about doing this movie, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm sure I can just go find that on streaming. And turns out it's not as easily available as you would actually think on a streaming service. And so I kind of started doing a little bit of a dive of like, okay, well, let's see. And so when I went to Amazon, so this is one of those movies that has somehow not made its way past, as far as I can tell, it has not made its way past just a regular DVD. Like there is no Blu-ray of this. There's no like 4K restoration or whatever. There is VHS versions and then there are DVD versions. And,
Interesting.
I'm sure if I had to guess on a price for this on VHS, if I had this out at the VHS swap or somebody had it, I'd probably offer like 10 or maybe $15 for it because it's not something you come by very often, but also it is a little niche. Like it's probably more for like people like you and I that actually grew up watching this movie, and so it has a little bit of nostalgia value to it.
Yeah.
The tape itself, or like the rarity of it, I don't think it's like this super like, oh man, super hard to find rarest tape ever. But what I did find,
it's not like some Babe Ruth,
no.
Babe Ruth baseball card or nothing like that.
Yeah, it's not like Texas Chainsaw Massacre first edition on Wizard, like or Lightning Video, which usually goes from 100, 200, $300 plus.
Damn.
Because that was one of the very original, like it was one of the early like VHS tapes, of trying to find that, and it's got a certain look and everything to it, and it's one of the few ones that actually had a trailer in front of it and all that stuff. But like Johnny Dangerously doesn't really fit into that sort of niche or that realm. And so I started looking. I was like, well, maybe I want to own this on physical media, and I'm sure I probably will if I come across it. But I was looking at it, and on Amazon, the DVD for this sells as high as like $80 to $90.
The shit.
Yeah, which makes me think then, oh, this movie is like out of print, or there is like probably some sort of rights issue, right? It could be because of the music. It could be because of imagery that's in there, which actually I have some thoughts after watching it. I was like, why can I not find this? Like, I eventually found it through, I guess you could say, notorious ways. But
that's how I watched it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, this goes to the whole point of like, I want to be able to go to my shelf or go to my local video store and say, hey, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Johnny Dangerously and I want to watch it. I'd like to rent that, please. And you rent it out. Now,
Yeah.
like somebody owns the streaming rights for this or whatever the case is, and they're sitting on it or hoarding on it, or like, this is like the one thing I don't like about streaming for all the convenience that everybody talks about. Like, I think it's really crappy that like artists and people that have put in the effort, not only just like the actors and director, but like the people that work, lighting, camera.
Yeah. There's a shit ton of people. There's more people behind the camera.
Oh yeah.
Involved in making a movie. Absolutely.
Like 50 times more people behind the camera when you look at all those credits. And it really sucks that their work is like not available because somebody has a issue or some sort of up their butt.
Somebody else didn't like it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like they didn't like it or they don't want to give up the rights or they don't want to like the music. There's something about the music.
Right.
Because there were a couple things that I was like, well, it could be a number of these things, but I seriously doubt that it could be any of these things. And there was one thing that came up that I was like, maybe, but I didn't do a ton of research, and we'll get to that when we get there. But I guess all that to say, this opening rant is brought to you by physical media, because like this is the exact reason why we should have physical media, because we should not be censored by what corporations or whatever like want to like hoard. This is a part of our childhood, and I think it's like a cool thing that was made, and there should be no reason why we shouldn't be able to watch it. I'm sure somebody wants to get their money, from it for making sure that it gets streamed, but like figure out whatever that is and then just make it available, or like make it available on, Blu-ray or whatever. I feel like this is one of those movies that may eventually make its way to like somebody, like enough people may speak to it that like a boutique, like sort of DVD company may put it, like recently. Do you remember that movie Overboard with like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell? Kurt Russell, yeah. So I hadn't really thought about that movie in a long time, but then it did get like this 4K remastered version from like maybe like Arrow Video, or I can't remember who put it out, but I was like really surprised. I was like, whoa, like that's weird. And I think the reasoning behind that was I believe that was like a big rights, somebody didn't want to give up the rights to it, or it was stuck between studios, because of this and that. So and I was looking at the logo, the opening logo for this movie, and it's 20th Century Fox, right? Which got bought by, well, before they got bought by, I forget who bought them the first time, but then they're like now under the Disney brand, right? Because 20th Century Fox, when they bought like, I guess when Disney bought like Star Wars and started consuming everything, 20th Century Fox was part of that. That's why like Alien and all those movies are like under that label now, or you can find them on Hulu or whatever. So yeah, I find it really weird that this movie is like just not available unless you want to pay.
It must have just fallen through the cracks or something, because
you want to pay like $90.
If that's the case, I mean,
I
didn't think it was going to be as difficult to find.
Yeah,
as it was. I mean, because it's 84. I mean, there's plenty of other. We've had most of season one was 1984 flicks, and we didn't have any problem finding that on the Roku TV or the Pluto or Tubi or Freevee. I mean, there's so much shit out there. It's like, how is this not on one of those platforms? I mean, what the shit?
With all the stars of this movie, you would think like, oh yeah, it should be.
No shit.
Shouldn't be a big deal. And it's very odd. So yeah, support physical media. Keep buying. It's kind of funny because I feel like every year at the start of the year, I always read an article about how like, oh, this is the end of Blu-rays and physical media, and like, because like places like Best Buy don't really carry physical media anymore, like DVDs and stuff like that, and places like Walmart or Walmart and Target are sort of like lightening their load, or slowly phasing them out, and they keep talking about how like, oh, it's like the end of physical media, and then there's always like a resurgence during the year, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like I have plenty of friends, because we're like, well, you're over 50 and I'm just about there. And so I have plenty of friends that are, I guess you would say, like millennial, like older millennial or millennial in the sense of like they're in their mid 30s or like latter 30s, or I have friends that are like, coworkers and whatnot that are in their late 20s or early 30s. And so like, I feel like, those people never experience what a video store is. And like I want to say the importance of it because, you have people that curate this sort of stuff. And yes, streaming has lots of options, but it doesn't have that personal person telling you like, oh, if you liked Beetlejuice, you might like Johnny Dangerously. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of push you in that direction, not because of the algorithm, but more because, not because of who stars in it, but because of the way the acting is, or things like that. And so like, I feel like, every year you see those articles and then you see how vinyl, records have outpaced, I want to say like it's resurgence has outpaced things like normal CDs, which were already kind of phasing out, but also do just as well as like streaming services, because I think people like the idea of collecting those things and whatnot. And I don't know if there ever be like this massive resurgence of like, discs or, obviously VHS is not going to come back, but I don't know. I think you had sent me the thing and I had seen it where, speaking of 20th Century Fox, they put out that limited VHS for Alien, the most recent Alien, I forget what it's called, Alien, not Resurrection.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to pull up which one it is, but in any case, they put out like a limited edition. And I thought it was cool. Like, it's cool for the collectors. It's cool, I guess. Like, clearly, it's a nostalgia grab, because it sold for a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
it sold for a lot more than I would have wanted to pay for it, and I'm sure I will find one at some point. Someone just trying to dump theirs later at some point, and I'll get it for a fraction of the cost. And again, it's not because I want to resell it. It's because I want to have it in my collection, and I want to be able to put it on the TV every now and then on a 4:3 screen. I think it could be a cool way to watch it. So, I don't know. I was just interesting side note about Johnny Dangerously. If you are listening to this episode and want to watch it, good luck. Or you can reach out to us at topshelfvideo podcast.com and I can maybe help you out on where you can maybe find something like this, or hell, I don't know. Hopefully somebody listen to this at one of the next VHS swaps will bring out a copy, and I will be happily buy it or happily trade for it, because I definitely want to have this in my collection. Oh,
I'm going to be on the lookout now. There's a good handful of half-price books here in Austin, and I'm always like on a Saturday when I'm bored, I'll go hit everything up. Yeah, and they look at the records, look at comics, look at the VHS, see what they have. Yeah. So I'm gonna be looking for Johnny Dangerous.
Yeah, it would definitely be something that we're gonna need for Top Shelf Video. So yeah, Johnny Dangerously, 1984, 20th Century Fox, directed by Amy Heckerling. Are you familiar with Amy Heckerling?
No. I'm gonna say no.
I was, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, no shit. I was like, I have not seen this movie since we were probably kids. Because I was like, have I watched this like when I was like in art school, or when I was younger or older, or maybe like, did I ever show it to Denise when we were like dating, or like when we were kind of doing the introductory like swapping of movies? It's like, oh, here's a movie I like. And I can't think of a time that this would have come up. So probably the last time that I saw this was easily like 30 plus years ago. Like, it has to be. Yeah. And so I was very curious on this rewatch. This is one for the podcast that I was very curious to see if this was going to kind of hold up. And then the minute it was like Amy Heckerling, I was like, oh, no shit. Because she directed Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She directed Clueless. Look Who's Talking with the Bruce Willis talking baby.
Oh, yeah. Bruce Willis. Yeah. John Travolta and Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, and European National Lampoon's European Vacation. The second one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one very much.
I
remember the first one. I remember Wally World, the whole trip to Wally World.
Yeah.
I know there's others, and Christmas Vacation, European Vacation. I don't remember any of those.
Yeah, I do.
But the first one,
I do remember a bit of European Vacation because that one had Michael. What was his name? He was in 16 Candles. Michael Hall.
Michael Anthony Hall. Anthony Michael Hall.
Or Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah.
So he's like one of the kids, I believe in that one. But But yeah, so this movie has like a very particular look about it, and obviously like these movies that were from 1984, right? They shoot them on film, but there was something about this one that just kind of resonated with me a little bit for some reason, like right from the onset. So I double checked, and the cinematographer of this was David Walsh, and I didn't recognize him right away. But then when I look at the resume of work, I was like, oh, there it is. So he was the cinematographer on Summer School, which we talked about in season 1. And there's, there's something to be said about like the way cinematographers, much like a photographer, like I've done a lot of photography, and I have a particular way that I shoot, right? And there's ways
they have certain angles that they like.
Yeah, like you always go to a certain angle or a certain spread, or like when you see a certain lighting in nature or like in a space, there's something that immediately you're like, oh, that I like the way this falls, and so you can shoot it really quickly because that's like your style. And I feel like for whatever reason, I just kind of picked up on this one really quick of like something about the way this is shot. It's got that graininess and the way that everything's sort of framed, and I was like, oh, sure enough, it's the guy from Summer School.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was man, talk about like a throwback to memory lane right from the onset. The opening song, the custom original song, which I totally forgot about, was written and performed by Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, my boy.
Yeah.
Man, I when it started playing, dude, I started remembering the lyrics, even though it's been 30 something years.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was like, like, this is a life. And I was like, I started remembering, I was like, how do I remember this song?
Yeah.
But Karen, my wife looked over me, and I was like, I don't have an explanation. I just know.
Kind of speaks to how many times we watch this. It's really funny because like again, if I had to guess, could this be one of the reasons why there is like a rights issue? Like does Weird Al not want to give up the music rights to a song because maybe he got burned or he didn't get paid, and he's like, you know what? Since you guys didn't pay me back then, like I'm not gonna allow the rights to that music to be used. So like it could be something like that, right? I doubt it because it seems like Weird Al is not that type of person. But when I started watching this and then thinking about the fact that I couldn't find it anywhere, I was like, oh man, because more often than not, usually the issue with movies that never make it past DVD because nobody cared about like rights issues for anything. Like if they used a song from the Beatles and they were like, well, we paid for it back then. They were like, yeah, but if you read the fine print, it says that you can only use it for a certain format. And so if you want to use it again for like digital or something, which obviously they didn't know
contracts.
about. Yeah, they didn't know about that in 1984. The wording by lawyers is always easy enough to say like, well, you can go in and custom take it out, or you can just not, or pay us the ridiculous amount of money, right? I seriously doubt it's that, but it did like immediately my radar went off of like, oh man, I wonder if it's like a Weird Al thing that he won't like release the music rights or something, but that would seem a little silly. But I will say as a graphic designer and as a obviously a fan of film and just visuals and graphics, I love the opening like title screen and like the font and the way it's all like, it's so cool. Like, and the music and everything really like sets the tone of like what you're about to watch. But what's kind of really funny is like from there, it immediately goes into the jokes. And I kind of forgot that this is sort of like an Airplane spoofy kind of, like it's not as heavy as Airplane, but it definitely is like in the realm of Airplane.
Oh yeah. In the intro, the monologue or whatever. I mean, they break the fourth wall like pretty early.
Yeah.
When Ma Kelly's like, it really sucks or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's one of those.
Yeah.
That, well, like, they're just going to.
Like literally in the first shot where it's like 1935 and like you get that overlay graphic and then the car comes and hits and the actual, the numbers. Yeah. Man, as a kid, I remember like loving that kind of humor of just like that. I don't know. It's kind of funny because I guess for some people it feels like an inside like sort of movie joke because like if you watched a lot of movies, you're used to seeing that. And so like seeing it get hit by a car, like it's a layer, like they're poking fun of, people like us that it kind of ended up being movie nerds. And I don't know like how much that resonates with other people where they're like, well, what's so funny about that? It's like, well, it's funny because it's like, it breaks, like you said, it breaks the fourth wall, of comedy. But, so yeah, the movie sort of starts with like, it's you're seeing Johnny Dangerous, or I guess
Johnny
Kelly at the very beginning, working at a pet store, which being a house full of pets, like I really like love that opening sequence. But I think the other thing too that I love about the opening sequence is I remember as a kid being like, if I want to be as cool as Bill Murray and Michael Keaton. Like, you know what I mean? There was like a certain swagger about them and a certain like comedic tone. And the way that he's doing like his little bit here in the beginning of the movie where he's like bringing out the food that he's going to serve to the animals and he's like acting like a maitre d'. I just love that.
Yeah, man. I mean, the 80s, I mean, comedians were like rock stars in the 80s.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, hell, even Joe Piscopo was in this. I mean, and he was from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
I remember him, and obviously, Michael Keaton was, had some comedic chops. But in those 80s, I mean, there was just I'm trying to think like Belushi.
Oh yeah, like Belushi,
like all those guys.
Yeah.
Like comedians were like they were rock stars.
Yeah,
back then.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Like it's kind of like there was so much of, I want to party with those guys, or I really want to be the swagger of those guys. Because, I think like any era of Hollywood, you always had your Hollywood hunks. Whether it be like Arnold or Sylvester Stallone or I guess like there was just that era of like the tough guy and like the very masculine man. But I feel and there was a lot of that, in the 80s, obviously you had like Jean-Claude and all these other guys that like just, they were just awesome. But then on the other spectrum of it, you just had these super like everybody wants to be friends with Bill Murray, everybody wants to be friends with like Michael Keaton, like just the cool factor, of these guys that are just they have charisma that just bleeds through the movie. And so like right from the opening scene, like, I mean, again, not to belabor the point of like, it is a shame that like more people do not know about this movie because they can't have access to it because the way Michael Keaton plays Michael Keaton, or Johnny Dangerously is so good. Like, it's just like, it immediately almost like instantaneously, I was like, oh man, I want to be as cool as Johnny Dangerously, because he's super cool and, he's slim and he wears like the suits and everything. Even like in the opening sequence, he's wearing the pet store, like, I don't know what the outfit or whatever.
Like, he's got like the apron on, he's serving them and,
but he's
just
cool.
like in his work stuff.
Yeah.
He's
just super cool. And so, like, the movie starts And I kind of forgot about this too, but the movie starts with he's working at a pet store. He's feeding these animals, and this kid comes in and I guess tries to steal like a puppy, and then he stops the kid, and is like basically he's like, "Hey kid, come here!" Like, is going to tell him the reason why he should not be a criminal because crime doesn't pay. And so he starts telling him the whole story of, like, this is, you don't want to go down this road, kid. Trust me. And then, which is funny because, again, another inside joke, which I really love, just from the onset of the whole, like, he starts telling the story, you hear the harp and the screen starts to, like, do the shimmering wavy. And he's like, the kid's like,
what's going on?
He's like, don't worry about it. It'll go away. And it's like,
it'll pass in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just, again, like, I was just tickled to like my 13-year-old me of just like, God damn, that's so funny. Like, and it was hilarious. And again, it's that swagger that he has. Like, it's just, and then from that point forward, you kind of get the, it's kind of funny because it really follows a, and I want to say Goodfellas came out a little bit later, but it's basically the movie of like Goodfellas with a whole bunch of jokes, like, there, I mean, we could talk for hours about the number of jokes that are in here from like, when he's like he's a newsboy, and then he has to go see his mom, but apparently they live like on the 80th floor of some building, and he's always running up the stairs, and the doctor is like I guess the constant joke is just that the mom always needs some sort of medical attention. And
there's some surgery.
Yeah, every decade it just kind of goes up and up in price because of well, I guess inflation, but it starts in 1939, and
she's gonna have surgery for the low price of $49.99
this week only. Like, and so it's very like of the 80s, but at the same time, like, it just kind of it's just really funny. And so you get the movie starts, you get a sense of Johnny as a young kid and the reason why he goes into crime, which is basically because mom is sick and mom needs all these surgeries, and there's no, the father, they talk a little bit about the father, because there's the mom, she's by herself, and then the father was a criminal, and he was like an a-hole, and I guess he got the chair, like they gave him I guess he got the electric chair for being a criminal. And, that's why she's like, oh, I'm glad you kids never like went the way of your father, or, he's such an asshole. And, so there's the younger brother who's like basically a nerd, I guess is the way that they try to put it. Yeah. Cause he's got all the books. Tommy's got all the books, and, he's got all the stuff. And Tommy, who's played by, Griffin Dunne, who's most famously known for American Werewolf in London. And he actually is going to be at Texas Frightmare this year, so I think that's going to be kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
And he's there for American Werewolf in London, but obviously, like the minute I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, American Werewolf in London. But
it took me a second, but when I saw him as an adult, and I was like, I know that face. What the hell? And I was like, it took me a second, but I found it without Googling. I remembered. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Johnny is having to figure out how he's going to support his mom, and kind of leans into the life of crime after meeting, what's his name? Mr. Dundee or Jocko.
Yeah, Jocko
Dundee. But or what did they call him, Mr. Jocko, or was it Mr. Dundee? I can't remember.
Mr. Dundee.
Yeah, it was Mr. Dundee.
It was Mr. Dundee. Yeah.
So, he offers a job to Johnny and basically tells him, like, hey, if you ever need money, you come work for me. And he's like, do I have to do anything illegal? And he's like, well, and so obviously the very easy, flimsy premise is like, well, I don't know how I'm going to make this money fast enough for my mom's surgery, so I'll do what Mr. Dundee is asking. Basically Mr. Dundee, I guess, is a gangster, or I guess you could say like a mob boss, and in Chicago, which is kind of important later. So Mr. Dundee is one of the mob bosses, and then there's another mob boss who Roman
Maroney. Yeah,
played by
awesome.
Richard Dimitri. Yeah, and I guess we should probably note this movie is rated PG-13, which is really funny because we definitely, well, I wouldn't say definitely, but I think
they figured out the loophole on that.
They definitely found out the loophole on this shit. And I would say that if mom and dad knew that we were watching this or where we got some of our understanding of language, it's definitely from this movie. Basically, Roman Maroney and Jacko Dundee are the two mob bosses. And in the very early sequence, basically, there's like a heist, I guess, and Johnny as a young kid helps out, gets involved, and that's how he gets in good with Mr. Dundee. But Roman Maroney, who I guess he's supposed to be an Italian or Italian, as Joe Bob Briggs would say, he basically, they skate the line of language. It's kind of funny because it did make me think. Did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica on the Sci-Fi Channel?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I remember when that came out. Man, that was like probably 2005 to maybe like 2008, somewhere in there. It was right after 9/11, so maybe it was like 2003 or something. But it was obviously a great show. But I think one of the things that it kind of did to skate around some of the intensity of keeping up with like a heavy drama like that, which is they use whatever cuss words they could use, or I guess that are allowed in a show like that. But then whenever they wanted to push it further, instead of saying fuck, they would say frack, right? Like, oh, what the frack, And it was
and that was like the alien language.
Yeah, like it was almost like their spin on that, like that's just normal. And so that way they would use it not jokingly, but they would use it in a way that it allowed them to keep that intensity level up, right? And because sometimes I'm like, well, you know what, just don't use it. Like sometimes, but I think in the sense of Battlestar Galactica, it worked. But then in this movie, I guess the joke is that because Roman Maroney is an Italian and his accent is super thick, that everything he says is just he can't enunciate it correctly. So he is cussing, but he's saying it like in a way that it's like, you fargin iceholes. Like, man, again, once he started talking, and I just belly laughed. I forgot about that. Like, I totally forgot about Maroney's again, if this was something that was out now, like people would be saying stuff that he says all the time because it's just kind of funny, like, and especially later when he's in court, it's even better. But
his little speech, when he makes a statement,
and that's maybe I'll cut that in here at this point. The whole court thing is just hilarious. But again, when they kind of go back to Michael Keaton's telling the story of when he was like young and now it's like he's getting a little bit older, but again they cut back to him still being in the pet store, and he's still telling the kid about those were his younger years. It gives them the ability to sort of now talk about the older years, and when they cut back to him, he has one of those like the grocery stamp, things that you would use to put.
The price
gun
tag.
The price gun. That's right. And he's like,
that's right. Yeah. And he was putting it on the animals,
on the puppies, and he just kind of puts it in, and it's just very nonchalant. Like it's just no big deal.
Like it's normal. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh man, like that level of comedy, I don't know. Again, I would be very interested if any of our listeners who are younger who can get a hold of this, if they were to watch this, like if any of this resonates with them, because I do wonder if this is like just something that doesn't carry over, right? Because like, you know, most grocery stores don't have like tags on the aisles anymore. You know, it's all displayed differently.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't see it like that no more.
No, not at all. You know,
damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like it's if you were to tell somebody like, hey, do you have like a what do we just call that? It's a sticker gun. Would that even make sense to anybody? Would they be like, a what? Like, what is...
They wouldn't know what to do with that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, it cuts back to, like, Michael Keaton now. He's a little bit older, even though it's basically just him. Yeah. I don't know how old he was in this movie. I would guess I want to say he's like 70. So he was probably, in his, like, late 20s when this movie probably came out, if I had to quickly do math in my head. Because he would have been born in 70 or no 40 or 50. Yeah, he would be like in his late 20s, early 30s.
He was born 51.
Okay, yeah. So they cut back to him. He's now in the old neighborhood. He's wearing the pinstripe suit, and he's talking about how even when he was like now like a teenager or like a young adult, mom still needs more surgery, so he needs more money, so he has to go back to crime. And it's just funny because he comes back to the old neighborhood and everybody's like, oh, it's Johnny Dangerously, and he's like rounds up the whole neighborhood and he's like, look, people, like, what did I tell you? Like, nobody knows I'm Johnny Dangerously, and around here I'm Johnny
everybody
Kelly.
Except mom and my brother.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows except those two.
Yeah, everybody knows.
So
everybody knows, or he's like, I need everybody to say it. Everybody knows that I'm Johnny Kelly, or when I'm in here.
When I'm in the neighborhood, I'm Johnny Kelly. And when nightclub owner, blah, blah, blah. Not the notorious gangster Johnny Dangerously.
And then immediately it's like, and I'm the Pope. And then like the Pope is right there, and it's Dom DeLuise, which I love.
Oh, that's another one I forgot was in this. Yeah.
Oh man, and he's the Pope, and it's like it's funny because he's in the movie for like a minute, and he's on the cover of most of like the covers, and it's like, dude, he's in the movie for like a minute, and I guess because Dom DeLuise was such like a big,
but again,
star
he was a
in
big
the 80s.
name. He was a big comedian name.
But I love that joke because, like, again, he's like, and I'm the Pope, and then the camera just like moves over, and literally the Pope is right there, and I love that. So yeah, he's back to see his mom, and mom's still doing laundry and trying to make ends meet in this one, Chicago apartment that's just grungy, and she has to have I forget what surgery she has to have this time, but it's like now it's like gone up to like $5,000 or like $10,000 from $59.99.
Ridiculous.
And so he's back in town, and he's giving mom a little bit of cash and whatnot, but he finds out from his mom that Tommy, who is now like older and in college and in law school, wants to drop out of law school because he wants to get married like right away. And so the mom is not cool with this. Right. And she wants Johnny to do something about it. Man, I can't begin to tell you, like, I forgot about this part. Like,
I didn't.
The fact that this is, again, PG-13, like, skates like a real thin line of, like, I would be super interested to see the notes on, like, from the MPAA on, like, what they thought about this movie, because I feel like they were like, oh, okay, so if we don't say bad words, then we're in the clear. And it's like, yes. And if we don't show any nudity, we're in the clear. Yes. It's like, yes. It's like, okay.
They check the box.
So let's ride the razor line that is between those two. Because so like Tommy doesn't want to say why he wants to drop out of law school and why he wants to get married so quickly. And he's like, I don't want to say it in front of mom, and Johnny's like, well, look, I have to go to the club or whatever tonight. You swing by and we'll talk about it tonight, because, you can't do this. You need to stay in law school.
Yeah. You're going to law school.
You got to do it. And as soon as he leaves, like the mom is like, is it because you want to get laid? And she goes off on like this whole, like, using, again, all the language that you can use of the era without actually saying a bad word.
Yeah.
which is just hilarious. Like, oh man, it was again. I found myself just like kind of belly laughing of like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like the mom's like just as dirty mouth as like anybody else, without actually saying any bad words like at all. Like it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
So Johnny heads back. There's like a new I guess you could say dame at the club.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Who's played by
Mary Lou Henner.
Yeah, that's right. Who again, just like for that era, just like another superstar, I guess you could say. And so it's the classic like hard to get, kind of sort of back and forth.
She's from out of town, so she's like not falling for the like everybody else knows Johnny.
Right.
All the other girls kind of surround him, and man, in that scene in particular, did you notice the excessive gum chewing with the mouth open? Like it was like being exaggerated.
Yeah.
Because I remember I like my note was like, "What's up with the fucking gum chewing?"
Yeah,
and it was almost like just the like trying extra hard to be like I guess mobster cool, and he was just like just like real obvious.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I'm thinking about it now. That may have been another one of those things where it's like you can get maybe. And I'm not too sure. I'd have to do a little bit of research to look. But back in the 80s, it would not be surprising that if they said, if you do any smoking on screen, like it's a rated R movie, like you get that because it's like, we don't want kids saying bad words. We don't want to show sex or boobies or whatever. Right, and we don't want to show anybody smoking because those were like the vices that generally the MPAA were against. And the reason I say that is because like, I'm trying to think, I don't think anybody smokes in the movie, except for that one scene in particular that comes up a little bit later, and it's almost like they're making a joke right into the camera and making fun of the MPAA. And if you don't remember, and I'll just kind of, I forget where it happens in the movie, but I'll just jump to it. But there's a scene later on in the movie where like it's after Mr. Dundee almost dies and Johnny's now in charge. And he comes back to the office, and the room is full of smoke because everyone's kind of smoking and they're all kind of depressed.
Yeah.
They actually they sort of show them smoking, but not really. It's mostly the room.
I don't know that they actually. Yeah, the room is smoky, but now that you're saying that, I don't know that anybody has cigarettes in their hands.
I don't think so, but I think like they have.
But it's
lighters.
Smoky to imply,
right? Well, they may have had cigarettes in their hands, but I don't think that they actually show anybody like smoking it out of their mouth. But remember,
I'm gonna have to go back and review that.
It turns into like a 2-minute PSA where like Johnny's like, "What are you guys doing? Like, don't you know this stuff will kill you?" And then he like looks right into the camera and he pulls out like his little thing and he's like, have some chewing gum. Like it's better for you and it won't kill you. Like it's almost like he's giving like a like one of those PSAs that you would get about like
that's
the
right
black and white, sort of like don't smoke because it's bad for you or whatever. And so I feel like that joke was just kind of like very specific. And
it was meant to jab at the MPAA. I guess.
I guess maybe it did. Now that I think about it in retrospect, because you really don't see a lot of that kind of stuff, and even like with people drinking and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure they show people have drinks, but more often than not, they're just kind of holding them in their hand, but they're not really drinking.
Right.
Or they show anybody like pouring anything per se. There's just sort of like an implication, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. I was just thinking about that, and so yeah, it kind of threw me off. But just because I feel like this movie is just a constant jab at like both the viewer and like the industry, like the film industry,
sure,
and sort of insider kind of stuff. But so he's hitting on the dame, and again, I feel like there's like just this build up for all these jokes, but I want to say at that point, no, that happens afterwards, but he kind of is like trying to to hit on like this new singer that's in town, but then Tommy shows up and he is like, okay, I'm going to explain to you like why you need to not drop out of law school. And like he comes up to his penthouse and like all these women are there that are like half dressed, wearing
like Playboy bunnies almost.
Yeah, like wearing nighties and or I guess teddies.
Sure.
They're just like, they're like everywhere. And then they're all wearing like satin, and he's in his I guess his penthouse, and everything's all like satin everything, and he has like his own projector, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, so he tells Tommy why he can't drop out of law school, and he shows him this like PSA film that's in black and white, and like it's basically, what was it? It was the Atlanta Institute I want to say I wrote it down here somewhere. The Atlanta Genital Institute, explaining why, what was the video or the film was called? Your genitals,
your
in you. Your testicles
in you.
In you. Yeah, and I actually don't know exactly what the purpose of that film was, other than like. It was kind of confusing of like what they're trying to say in the film. But okay, so this is the other thing that I think may or may not like have caused rights issues. And maybe, I don't know, I'll have to do research. But in that film, the doctor is talking about how like, he has a balloon. And he's like, these are your testes. And sometimes they're deflated and sometimes they're full. And then sometimes he's like, they'll just burst. And he's like, so you have to be careful. And then there's like an animated film with what appears to be like Mr. Peanut, like from the Peanut, what's that?
Planters?
Planters. Yeah. It looks like kind of the Planters guy, because he's got a hat and he's got the thing. And he's like basically like a dick and two balls, like is what he is.
Yeah.
And he's like walking and he's like, oh, you got to, maintain your testicles by cleaning them and doing all this stuff. And then he's like, but then sometimes, and then Betty Boop, I think, or it's Betty Page, or there's.
It looked like one of those.
It looked like one of those characters. I wonder if that's one of the reasons why they can't show this movie, or they like won't cut out that part or something, because
right. Well, yeah, it's vital. Well, or it
would make a lot of sense, like if they kind of cut that out. Or maybe it's just one of those things, but maybe it has to do with that character, like being in there and improper use of that.
Possibly, yeah, I can see where. I mean, because it was so long ago. I mean,
yeah. Well, and it's one of those
now people are people are more about protecting their IPs and all this shit.
Well, exactly.
Back then it was like you could just use that stuff and nobody really gave two shits about it.
Well, and nobody would really ask back then. And then it's like, hey, wait a minute, I'm not getting paid for this. So there could be that, and then also like depending on how old that is, it could be one of those things where it's like, like Disney or not Disney, Mickey Mouse, just. It's
that's right, the
copyright on it,
the trademark or copyright expired.
Yep. And so now it's public domain because it's been over 100 years. I don't know if Betty Boob falls into that category or where that lies in there, but the fact that she's in that animated film, I was like, oh, I wonder if that is the reason. So that was my second thought when I saw that. I was like, oh man, I wonder, because I have no idea who owns the rights to Betty Boob, but. So yeah, basically, I don't know. I guess it's like a film about like blue balls or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I still don't know. I don't know what the point of it was. They show a bunch of guys at the institute with big ass like elephant balls.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were like
just walking around all
they can't,
in discomfort. Yeah. And so I don't know what the point of the video was, but he basically scares him into going back to law school,
right?
Basically, somehow, with that film,
and so then the movie just kind of carries on from there. But I do love there's yet another joke in there, a very Hollywood, I think a Hollywood sort of pointed joke, but also like just a joke in general where he's with the redhead. What was her name? Lil Sheridan.
Lil Sheridan.
So like after she has a performance or whatever, they go for a walk, and he's like, "So tell me about you." And he's like, "Well, she's like, I had a really tough time with blah blah blah, and so I packed up everything and decided to move to New York and see if I could make it there." And they stop, and he's like, "Babe, we're in Chicago," and she kind of looks around like, "Oh, we are." And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, New York, Chicago,
it's all the same.
But then you see the look of like, what the hell? Her face is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and again, that level of humor, I feel, is like very well written. And then you got to have the right kind of actors to pull that kind of stuff off. And so then they start walking down the street, and they're telling each other like their life stories. But then it's like a montage that goes on where, again, it's one of those jokes where it's like, oh, they're having a romantic walk down a downtown Chicago area, but it keeps going and going. And so I guess they just kind of, every time they cut back to them, they're in downtown, but now they're just outside the city because they're still walking. And then by the end of the entire sequence where they've told their life stories, they're like out in the country. Yeah. And he like looks around. He's like, "Where the?"
Yeah, he's like, "Where the hell are we?"
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that was such such a an airplane film.
Yes.
Like the movie Airplane.
Yes.
That whole little sequence there, that whole scene could have easily been in like Airplane.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like that kind of humor, I feel resonated with us quite a bit. And I feel like, for me anyways, like for me personally, I feel like it really defined the type of humor that I ended up growing with and that I ended up really liking. And I even remember when I was doing, I did like 1 or 2 short films when I was in high school because I wanted to get out of a writing assignment, and I asked my English teacher, I was like, "Hey, can I make a film instead?" And we did one for like, we did one for Beowulf because we were supposed to write like this report about it. And I was like, "Hey, is it cool if we make a movie?" And he's like, "Well, you're going to still have to turn in a paper, but like, yes, you can do that." And I'll, whatever. But the point of that being is like, I remember putting in little jokes like these sort of long drawn out, like sort of breaking the fourth wall kind of like jokes. Because to me, I thought they were just kind of funny. And I feel like this movie executes really well on those like sorts of jokes. But honestly, like I feel it's Michael Keaton's like level of just coolness and comedy. And like, he's so suave that like, he played like that kind of comedy just seeps out of him. So I feel like I'd be super curious to know like how many takes they had to do for these sorts of things. Cause I bet you they get a lot of these shots like in 1 or 2 takes. Cause he's just so charismatic, like the camera just loves Michael Keaton. And, so yeah, we kind of get that whole sequence, and basically I guess the movie just kind of like moves forward with basically, Tommy finishes law school, and now he wants to work for the DA department. He wants to work for the DA, but he doesn't know that his brother is Johnny Dangerously. Almost everybody else knows, but they don't know that they're brothers. And so like all of a sudden he turns into the new like crime fighting, like, assistant district attorney, and, Johnny takes over for Mr. Dundee, and so it sort of leads to a clash where the two of them will eventually find out that it's each other that they're actually looking for. But it's kind of funny because like Tommy ends up being like a really like hard-nosed like DA, and at one point he takes out doesn't take out, but he takes him to court. He takes Roman Maroney to court, and again you get this awesome montage of just like I will put in that little clip right here.
Before we begin the questions, my client would like to read from a prepared statement.
Go ahead.
I would like to direct this to the distinguished members of the panel. You lousy corksuckers, you have violated my Fargan rights. This salmon-butching country was founded so that the liberties of common patriotic citizens like me, could not be taken away by a bunch of Fargan ice holes like yourselves. Thank you very
much. But yeah, that whole court scene, it's hilarious. But the thing that I love about that the most is he's like, I'd like to read from, the written, pre-written statement. And he does this whole, you all are a bunch of...
You lousy cork soakers.
Yeah.
You have violated my Fargan rights.
Yeah.
That shit, man, that shit was hilarious.
But the thing, again, which is like maybe the nerd in me, is like, he's not bending... Maroney, that is not bending to Tommy's like hard-nosed questions, even though like they're treating it like a real hardcore drama. Like, wasn't this the gun you used at the what was it? There was like the
he has a list of like the
holidays, the holiday massacres,
the Mother's Day massacre, the Christmas Day slaughter, the Lincoln's birthday mutilations, and the Groundhog's Day beheadings. and he's just sitting there going, yeah.
And like, yeah, so he's like, wasn't this the gun you used? And he's like, oh, I don't know, or whatever. And
where'd you get that?
And then, he's, what about, da da da, and he's like, oh, I don't know. And then he hits him with, and I guess, again, I don't know if it's just because like we eventually kind of ran into this, but he hits him. He's like, I will ask you, sir. He's like, if a train leaves at 20 or at 45 miles an hour and has to be at whatever. So he basically asks him the classic like SAT,
like a fucking SAT question.
And then like Maroney looks all like distraught and like confused because he's like, what? And then he's like, you fired getting asked.
It's a fucking trick question.
That joke was so good. Like, again, I don't know if it'll resonate with other people, but man. Oh man, I love that joke. Like,
like they were trying to, like, it was like very like, damn, what was the courtroom scene with the Marines?
A Few Good Men.
A few good men. And so like it's got like this slight seriousness, and then when he gives him that question, and all of a sudden he's like starting to like panic. Like he just asked Jack Nicholson the question, he doesn't have an answer.
Yeah.
And then he goes off on him. Oh man, that was there's something about that type of comedy that I don't know. I mean, just kind of like it shaped how we grew up.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. I am a bit of an asshole, a bit of a sarcasm. Just
right.
Just I don't know. This kind of stuff. Just I don't know because I.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we were young watching this, and it was like we were taking mental notes.
Yeah. Well,
from this shit.
Yeah, because again, I feel like it was like being in that coolness whirl of Johnny Dangerously or Michael Keaton. It's just kind of like, oh, it's so cool. Like, I want to talk like that. I want to have that level of like coolness. And sometimes it was like how you would react to things and how you would, and it's the way that they're doing these things. And so like, yeah, I think like subconsciously we sort of took in that level of kind of humor because it resonated with us back then. And obviously it's because the type of humor they put in front of us. And for every generation a little different, like with Pet Detective and stuff like that, where it's like it's a little bit more physical comedy, or like more fart jokes and stuff like that. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but it's like I think we in the 80s kind of had a little bit more of the, I wouldn't say sophisticated humor because it definitely is not, but it is very sharp sort of humor, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta be paying attention to the movie, because if you don't, then you're not going to get some of these jokes, so they'll just like right over your head.
The Don't Call Me Shirley's.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of shit. It's like if you're not paying attention, you'll be like, you have to catch the lines before that where it's like, surely you can't be serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're not paying attention, then you don't understand what Don't Call Me Shirley. Exactly. You won't get it.
Yeah. And I think you also have to be suave to the time period to a degree. Like I don't think that that was one of the things I was going to say is like this movie it's not necessarily timeless per se, but it doesn't reference too heavily on the culture of the time of that era of the 80s, even though it's supposed to be a 40s movie,
30.
or well, it starts in the 30s, and I guess we're in the 1950s. I guess maybe because, like, if you say 10 years from 1939, and they're both like he finishes college or whatever, but
oh, that's right, that's right.
So it's supposed to be there, but obviously it takes place in the 80s, or it was made in the 80s, but they don't reference culture all that much, except there is one scene in particular that really stuck out to me, even though like I think if you watch it now, I don't think it would make a lot of sense or any sense to some people. But I guess to give it context, the sequence where now that Tommy is trying to take out all the crime in the city, he wants to be like he wants to be the DA, and he wants to take out all crime because that was what his mom wanted, because his dad was a criminal and blah blah blah. And Johnny's like, oh no, like my brother's gonna be up against me, but I've got the DA in my pocket, and the DA who is Danny DeVito. I know
where you're going. I remember.
Yeah. Which Danny DeVito seems, I mean, like if you look at him physically, he's obviously aged, but like his sense of humor and like his timing and everything, like none of that has changed. Like he is great in this movie. Like he's so funny. Yeah. He's so sharp. He's so like, he plays the slimy DA who's like, he's on the take and he's on Johnny's payroll. So he's trying to tell Tommy like constantly like, oh, why don't you take a vacation? On
his first day.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a break? Take a vacation. Ease your way in. He's like, I just got here.
Yeah. He's like, crime won't wait. And he's like, it'll be fine, And so the whole time he's trying to like constantly bribe him. And then there's a scene where he brings him over to his house. He tries to bribe him at home, and which is kind of funny because it turns into this like game show where
like a game show,
where it's like it's almost like let's make a deal. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you want to play ball? And it's like a stove and a trip to Tahiti or whatever. And so he kind of picks up on the fact that he's trying to pay him off. He's like, no, I don't want part of that. And Tommy almost gets killed, but not because of Johnny. It's because of Joe Piscopo's character.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The DA calls Johnny's office, but Danny Verman, Joe Piscopo, answers the phone, and he's like, yeah, he didn't take it. He's not, and so he's like, go. Oh, that's right. He goes like, Johnny, what are you doing? He like fakes that, like, and he's like, kill him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, Johnny says to kill him. And he's like, okay, I thought he'd think that, so I've already taken care of it.
Right.
And I guess they like cut the brake lines or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he almost dies, but he doesn't die. Johnny takes it personally, and he's like, oh, it must have been the DA that almost killed my brother. So this is the only one joke that does, it does tie into the era, and it won't make sense to anybody.
No, and nobody will get this if they're younger.
Yeah, but they're in the bar, which is kind of funny. The other part about this that I kind of forgot is that I guess like the DA that Danny DeVito plays, I guess they're supposed to, or they're insinuating that he's gay, because I never picked up on that until this viewing. But again, I hadn't seen.
We should go on vacation together,
like Tahiti, and he's like, what? Like, no, that's okay. He's like, but I got you a gift. And he gets him. He's like, oh, he's like, you didn't have to. And he opens up the gift, and it's a red jacket. It's a red smoking jacket. And then he's like, oh, let's have a drink to, the DA not being or the assistant DA not being a problem. And so they have like what almost look like champagne flutes, but they drink it. And then he's like, what is this? This is delicious. And he's like, oh, it's Michelob. And then he's like, I'll be right back. And then like he leaves, and he's holding the red coat, and he's wearing like, or he's drinking Michelob. And then like,
is it Michelob? Is that what the brand was?
Yes. Yeah.
It was like a malt. It was a
that's right. It was a malt liquor.
No. It was a like Schultz or Schlitz.
Yeah. It was like a, but
anyway. Yeah. But you gotta finish this. And
and so like that actually referenced back to a commercial in the 80s that I do remember seeing when I guess like more beer commercials or like liquor commercials were allowed like on television, but there were always these commercials where, I guess if you were drinking like a certain drink,
it's Schlitz.
It's Schlitz, yeah. It's Schlitz malt liquor. Which has like a bull on the front. But because whenever you drink that, the bulls would come running in through the wall like very Kool-Aid Man, and then they would just kind of rush in. But like in those commercials in the 80s, they never really show the aftermath. Like it just kind of was like, oh man, the bulls come because like I guess that's super cool, or when you think about it,
part of the Schlitz bull.
Yeah,
I think the mascot of the malt liquor was the bull,
right?
So when the Schlitz bull would break through, like you said, like the Kool-Aid Man,
he just breaks through the wall.
Yeah, it was just it would break through the wall, and that's how the commercial would end. It was like, or you'd kind of like you get the
just cut away
the shaking, and it would cut away Schlitz malt liquor
or whatever, and then so. The bull comes running through, and then like it cuts to the scene of the newspapers that are out, and it says DA dies in beer commercial. Like, which is like
like he got trampled by the bull.
The bulls, from the Schlitz malt liquor, and it's so like that. That is very much of the time. That is so very specific, but I still ended up laughing when I saw it this time because it took me back to being a kid, where it's like I remember those commercials.
I remember the commercials. Yeah,
and I don't think anybody's going to get this joke because it makes no sense. So the movie just kind of it's a little bit of back and forth, and like Tommy eventually finds out that Johnny is Johnny dangerously, and it kind of leads up to like just a sequence at the end where they're
when they're fighting, when they find out, they get into a fight, and that's where Johnny takes the dive, and he's so like the agreement was, if he wins,
oh that's right,
if Tommy wins, then Johnny's going to turn himself in and go legit,
right.
So he he lets him take him out. He's like, all right, you win, I'll turn myself in, I'll go legit,
right.
And then he goes back to I guess the
new
mob headquarters, and he goes and tells everybody, hey, I'm going legit. I'm sure you guys could find other places of employment, blah blah blah. Of course, Danny Verman takes exception, and that's where they show Johnny dangerously going to the DA to turn himself in,
right?
And but he comes to the office, and he's already been murdered.
That's right.
And they basically frame Johnny. Danny Verman's there, and they frame Johnny dangerously as if he's the one who murdered,
right?
The DA.
So
then.
Yeah, Danny's going to kill his brother, and he's going to kill the DA and Tommy. He's going to kill them both, or I guess over the. It was like the mayor or something. Like he's gonna kill like some of the big city hubbubs or whatever. But he's not only going to do that, but he's also going to kill Tommy. It's kind of the point. But like basically John needs to get out of prison where he's being held, and he's going to save Tommy, and that's kind of how the movie wraps. But I mean, like I said, we could probably go through this entire movie and analyze like all the jokes, but I will just ask. Yeah. I will just kind of ask, like, what were like maybe two of your favorite like sort of jokes or sequences that sort of resonated with you. I can go first. I don't know if it's one of yours, but in the end, or towards the end, when Johnny's in prison and they're going to give him the chair because he's like, I can't. Give me the chair. I want to get out of here, which is part of his escape plan.
He needed to try to escape that night.
Yeah, and so like I always remember as a kid, and I always thought it was funny, where they bring in the priest to give him, walk him down, I guess, a death row, right? And so everybody's like, oh, good luck, Johnny, and they're all shaking his hand. But lo and behold, like the priest is one of Johnny's like inside men, and so he actually. What I love about this sequence is like I always remember as a kid, because we grew up. I guess we grew up like Roman Catholic, right? Because the sister, or what was the church that we went to? Mary
Immaculate Heart.
Immaculate Heart, yeah.
Immaculate Heart of Saint Mary. It's always got like a long.
Yeah, it's very long.
Yeah.
But I always remember that's where like it was the big cathedral type, and it always had the guys in the big robes, and they walk down the middle, and they would do the chanting, kind of the chanting. You didn't really always understand what they were saying because I guess it's supposed to be like there's part Roman or I don't know.
Yeah, it's part Latin.
Part Latin, part whatever. But I just remember like, kind of. And so like, as they're walking Johnny down death row, the whole like, because he's making up obviously the stuff that he's there. And like, it's just, he's putting together this gun as everybody is like shaking his hand or giving him a piece of the gun he's putting it together. But the priest is like, he's like
he's just
Dominus,
winging that shit. Yeah,
Dominus Maximus, Marimus.
Yeah,
they ride the bus. We ride the bus. They ride the bus. Like we
missed the bus. They missed the bus. When's the next bus?
Yeah, that whole sequence. Oh man, I just remember like again being in school like as a small kid. Doing that, like when we'd be in lunch lines, like waiting to get into lunch, and we'd be like slowly walking, like single file line, and we're they always the principal would always say, hey, you guys need to stay quiet and hands behind your back,
stay in line,
But I remember like walking there, and a lot of times I'd be like, they take the bus.
When's the next bus?
When's the next bus? We all take the bus.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite scenes, or I'd say scene / jokey sort of sequences. Do you have one that resonated with you?
Well, I guess mine was more it was because it was used multiple times, but basically Danny Verman was always you shouldn't hit me in the face, Johnny. My mother hit me just once.
Yeah.
And then and then when he puts him on the hook on the door, he's like, you shouldn't hang me on the hook, Johnny. My father did, like, so it happens multiple times where that's like his catchphrase, I guess.
That's right.
And then there's like the one time, I think the mom kicks him in the nuts. Oh, no. It was the mom. But it was, that's right. When they discover that he's actually the one who set up Johnny to get him in prison, he gets kicked in the nuts. He's like, you shouldn't kick me in the nuts, lady. So like that one I remembered immediately. I remember doing that. Like that was a thing that we would say in school. He's like, you shouldn't cut in line. You shouldn't cut in front of me in line. My friend did that once. It's just that I remembered. That was like I just had like the flashback of that shit.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, the whole scene with the film, I still remember. The whole your testicles and you.
Yeah.
That was like a thing that stuck with me for a long time. I'm sure my juvenile middle school years, I was still like your testicle. Whenever they'd bring out when you had a substitute teacher and they'd bring out the
16
like you knew there was no teacher that day because they'd bring out the 16 millimeter and somebody would be in charge of putting the film or whatever for the day. And so every time one of those would come out, I'd be like, your testicles and you. And I remember that scene, and then the whole Joe Piscopo thing. I think that was like one of the things that the movie was known for.
Yeah,
because he had his moments where he would steal the scene, But yeah, there's just so many of those jokes just sprinkled all over this.
Yeah,
It was so funny that I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah, I really,
some of it was just remembering my youth and then just watching it again. I mean, like you said, there's probably a lot of shit that wouldn't hit, but I did the same thing when he, I totally forgot about the malt bull come through, but then when it happened, I'm like, holy fuck, I remember those commercials. And then when they throw the newspaper where it's like, DA gets killed in beer commercial, I was like, wow, son of a bitch. That is perfect.
So random. I would say the last sequence, and I guess really again, I guess it's I love the long joke, like the long drawn out jokes that are like there's like a big setup to them, which probably explains why I did like, shows like Arrested Development and Mr. Show and other shows like that, where it's like the comedy is in partly in the build up to it, and then like the joke, kind of eventually kind of comes to the end. So like when they're walking down the street, I think that's like, or when they're walking down the street and then they end up in the country, I think that's hilarious because it's like a great setup. But the other joke or the other jokey sequence that I really liked, and I guess partly because of the time, you remember that game Paperboy that we used to play like at the arcade?
Yep. Yeah.
So I loved the joke with the man who ran the newspaper stand, and then they would come and throw the papers.
He keep getting hit in the head.
Yeah, the first time, he's a blind guy that runs the joint, and he gets hit in the head, the first time, and then he's like, oh my God, like the music's very triumphant, like it's like the timpani is like, like, and then
oh my God, I can see.
and then so he's like, my God, I can see, and then the next time they throw the papers and he hits him on the head, he's like the guy.
Well, no, they hit him, and he's like, he's like, I can see, and then a guy comes up to him, he's like, hey, how much for the paper? Huh? And he's like, and he can't hear.
Oh, that's right. And then the second time, I think that happens the second time. No, yeah. So the first time he gets hit, he's like, I'm no longer blind. He's like, and then the second time he gets hit, that's when a guy walks up to him, and then he's like, how much for the paper? And he's like, huh? What? And then he's like, how much for the paper? And he's like, what? And he's like, damn it.
Oh, that's right.
He's like,
it happens 3 times.
He's like, I'm deaf,
I'm deaf.
And then the last time he gets hit, he's like, gets hit, and then he's like, then the music's even more triumphant than the 2 times prior, with like, now it's like a timpani and like a snare drum roll, and then he's like, I can see, I can hear, and then he's like, I can see, and I can hear. Who am I? And I was like, God damn, that's such a funny joke to me. Like, I don't know why. Just like, again, like that happened throughout the entire movie, and it took like the last hour and 20 minutes for that joke to finally pay off. And plus it's Mr. Hand from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times. Yeah. I was going to say, I remembered when I saw him, I was like, hey, Mr. Hand.
Yeah. But oh man. Yeah. This movie just brought back, like I said, I would be very curious. I'd love to get some feedback from people that maybe watch this and see what they think. But I love this movie. I thought it was really funny. But I still don't know if it holds up. Like, I have no idea. I know it holds up for us because I feel like, what made me laugh so much was thinking about being a kid and watching this and renting this and thinking about the times that we watched it and the jokes that we would say in school because of this, like riding that edge of, I'm not saying a bad word. I'm not saying a bad word.
Yeah, we're not cussing, but you're a fargan ice hole.
Yeah.
Hey, did you recognize, real quick before we continue, did you recognize the desk sergeant when they were like calling all cars when Johnny was trying to get to the rescue his brother?
His voice was super familiar, but I didn't look him up to place him.
He was the skipper from Gilligan's Island.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Alan Hale.
Yep.
And his voice too when he was like calling our cars, and I was like, it took me a second. I was like, that's the skipper.
Yes,
from Gilligan's Island.
You're right. Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh man. Yep. I didn't even think about that because I do like that end sequence where he's like on the radio a lot because they're in disguises and they're doing the whole like. Trying to constantly change their disguise, and then he keeps calling all cars, like Johnny Dangerously seen in a black sedan, blah blah blah, and then it's like, oh, you guys are gonna love this one. He's like calling all cars. He's like Johnny Dangerously seen dressed as, or is like in a car covered with duckies and bunnies,
dressed as nuns.
And then he's like, and then he like, come down to Mahoney's bar after the shift. Drinks are on me.
I'm buying. Yeah.
Oh man. Such an iconic voice. I should have picked up on the fact that was the skipper.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. This is a fun one. So I guess the question...
Yeah, good memories.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess the question definitely is now on the table. Is this a top shelf video? I'll let you go first.
I was going to say you go first.
No, you go first on this one. I'm very curious.
Okay. I like how we don't really think about this until we ask the question.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the fence because I think I want to say yes because of the emotional attachment. Like again, it took me back to our childhood when we probably shouldn't have been watching this, and we were just at that age where it was like, we were learning. Like we knew he was the main thing. Maroney specifically was like, we weren't supposed to be cussing, but that was a workaround, and that was like I think our kind of, it was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny, and it just
it pushed the buttons of parentals that really annoyed them.
But I think I'm just gonna definitely just put it. I'm gonna say no for Top Shelf. But if somebody's in the comedy section,
sure,
I'm gonna point to it and suggest
right.
it. But I don't think it's almost there, but not quite worthy for Top Shelf.
Right.
It was because there's a lot of stuff in '84. I mean, it's 84 is just a hard year because there's so many.
Yeah.
Just in itself, there's a lot of stuff that we could debate. Top Shelf Select. There's just such that year just makes it hard.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say no, but it's definitely gonna be maybe one that's I don't know.
Sure.
It will encourage people to go down the comedy crime, crime/comedy.
Absolutely.
Little section there.
It's funny you say that because, and I wanted you to go first, but also I know we're brothers, and so this was a little bit of a test to see where we actually fall after, like, part of this podcast is for you and I to sort of catch back up, on years that we haven't spent as much time together. But that said, I still feel like we still know each other, and I agree with you that, like, I think this movie resonates more with us than it might for a wider audience, but I'm really intrigued. Like, now I'm super intrigued. Like, we know some of the people that listen to this podcast, i.e., your kids, my nephews that now have their own kids, and I will be very curious if they've ever seen this movie or what they think of this movie, because I don't know if this will like resonate with a younger generation. And granted, they're in their 30s. It's not like they're like, teens or, well, one of them is, but,
yeah. The youngest is going to be 16 here next month, but
I think I would be interested, if he was interested, but like, I don't think this movie would hold his attention. And I would be very curious to see if this movie holds the attention of a lot of people, because, again, I think if you're a completist and you want to see Michael Keaton's work, this is pretty much required viewing. Because did you ever watch Birdman with Michael Keaton? It's like a series.
No.
Well,
it's
kind of a series.
Relatively recent.
Yeah. It won the Academy Award.
Isn't he like a superhero, or like he's like a aging?
Well, he's almost like playing. Well, he's almost like playing himself, like almost, because it has to take. It's a movie about. Well, there's a couple like unique things about this movie. One of them is that the whole movie, even though it's not actually all in one shot, but the movie is filmed to look like it's just one continuous shot. Like, it's one camera and then it just sort of moves, and then it moves with you, and you see everybody move, and then like you are basically going through this entire sequence in one evening, because Michael Keaton is an actor who has now moved to like the stage, like I guess Broadway. And so he's doing this performance, but he used to be in the movie. He used to be like a big action star, and he used to be this character that was the Birdman, which is basically Batman. Okay. Like, it literally is like Batman. And now that he's like aging out and he's getting older, and he has a daughter who's kind of a little resentful of him, and he's kind of like lost his way, and he has like this sort of like I guess trauma of going through all this stuff. So like he sees Birdman, but it's imaginary to him, but it is the character that he played. It's a really, really good movie. Like, it's really, really good. And it just sort of speaks to the chops that Michael Keaton has, both in like, he's still got it. Like at 70 years old. I don't know if you saw the most recent like Beetlejuice.
I haven't, but it's on my list.
It's still good. Sequel. Yeah, it's good. And it's like, I love Beetlejuice more. Like, I think a lot of people like it because, you know, well, it has Winona Ryder, and she was like everybody's like emo goth, like dream girl.
Oh yeah.
But I loved Michael Keaton as like, I liked, even though he's in the movie very little, but I liked his like comedy, like his suave, like, again, like, even though he's like, he plays like a gross character and he's kind of like a smarmy like man asshole, but he's funny, you know. And then like in Mr. Mom, in Johnny Dangerously, like he was great in the Spider-Man movie with where he plays.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He plays the Vulture.
The Vulture, yeah. Like, I mean, I remember when we saw that, Denise and I saw that, and I was like, man, I want to see Michael Keaton in some horror films, because like he was scary, like in the Spider-Man movie. All that,
yeah.
So
he played that role very seriously.
It was great. It was really good. And that's why I would very much recommend Birdman if you ever want to watch that on an evening. But all that to say, like, yeah, I don't think it's a top shelf video, but I feel like it's a really solid movie. And Michael Keaton, like every movie that he's in, I feel like he carries like on his shoulders, because the camera just like loves him, you know, like every time he's on frame, he's got a look, you know, like he's one of those actors that can, he can talk without saying anything, because the way his face like emotes and the way he does all these things, like it's very charismatic. It's very like it's very reflective of like an emotion, right? So like when he's confused, he can make that face without even saying a word. When he's like happy or sad or angry or really like intense, like he's just got something about like his eyebrows and his look and his demeanor or whatever. And as he's gotten older, I feel like it's even better than it's been, because like, you know, he's got all this like gruffness to him now. But
yeah.
But yeah, in the end, I don't think it's a top shelf video, but I do think it's like, if we had a like if we were calling out actors, you know, it's like, oh man, like you know, you should see Batman, you know, the Tim Burton Batman, or Gung Ho is another one, you know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That came out after this one. Pretty sure.
I think so. So like
86.
Like his entire like repertoire of like movies, like it's one of those things where it's like, man, you got to watch Johnny Dangerously if you haven't seen it, because it's worth your time. Like if you really like Michael Keaton, you know, you really have to see this. You know, he was great in Spotlight. He was great when I was flying to Japan. I watched that movie, The Founder or The Founders. I remember.
Oh yeah, The Founder.
Yeah, about like the McDonald's thing.
The McDonald's.
Yeah, and I remember watching it on my flight to Japan, because I just needed to stay awake, and man, I was intrigued. That movie was great. Like, and again, I think partly because he plays the asshole character in that movie, and he's great, you know. And so, I will apologize to Michael Keaton that this movie's not on his top shelf, but I will say, like, I feel like we have to have if there's an actor like if we were to do like an actor like a spotlight for actors, you know, maybe we'll do like something
right, like
in a certain month, you know, it's like, hey, like all the movies of this actor are going to be like on like we'll do like a 2-for-1 sort of rental sort of thing. Like Michael Keaton's gonna have to be one of them, because I can't think of like too many bad movies that he's been in, you know, like even like Multiplicity and movies like that seem really weird. They're all really good, you know. Just Michael Keaton is super cool, and I guess I have a man crush on Michael Keaton, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. That's like my conclusion. So, well, all right.
Yeah.
I guess this is one of the few times that it's like, what format should we have this movie in? I'm going to say all the formats because I'm really upset that it is not available in any format. Like
on principle,
just on principle,
we're going to have it on all formats.
It's going to be on. We're going to have it on Laserdisc. We're going to have it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and I'll see if I can hire like Synapse or Vinegar Syndrome or somebody to put out a 4K restoration or something of this movie because I definitely feel like this movie needs to be seen by lots more people. So let's just say all the formats to go against the man. What do we think? Oh, here's like a interesting tidbit. What do you think we should have for the store from this movie? Like in terms of like
merch. I want a keychain that has kind of like if you imagine like a reel, like a 16 millimeter, like a film reel, and right in the middle it'll just be your testicles and you.
Yeah.
And it's just be a keychain.
Yeah.
And then on the backside it'll have, Top Shelf Video and maybe that little walking penis.
Yeah.
Guy.
Like the top hat guy. Yeah. Oh man, I was not even thinking that in that direction. That's an absolute. Because I was gonna say one of the things for sure that we have to have. I mean, it almost seems like a given, but this one in particular, I would say is an absolute. But we got to have the original poster for this one because the original poster was drawn by Drew Struzan. I actually got to meet Drew Struzan, and I don't think you know who Drew Struzan is, but you do know who he is. So Drew Struzan is the guy who basically created all the iconic posters that we grew up with. So he did the posters for like
it has a look to it.
Yes, they're all hand done, and like the guy, it's kind of a sad story in that there's a documentary. I think it's on Netflix, but he did all the art for like Star Wars movies, Indiana Jones, The Goonies. I have a signed Goonie poster from him in like the hallway because I got to meet him. Right. He did Rambo, Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing, Johnny Dangerously. I mean, most of the iconic hand-drawn 80s posters and 90s, and I think he was drawing up until the 2000s because he did the ones for the Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3. And then he retired. Unfortunately, I guess his wife recently said that he has Alzheimer's, and so he's like,
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, like I guess like they're preserving his art, and I guess he's like potentially in his last few years of his life, but that poster, this poster, I think a lot of the posters that he drew are like iconic posters, so we definitely have to have that poster. Outside of that, I was trying to think. I guess to kind of play off of your reel, I was thinking of like a Bible that has like a cutout in the middle, like you can open it, and there's a cutout in the middle, and there's like popcorn in it, like microwave popcorn. There's like maybe like 5 bags like cut deep because it's the same Bible that priest has.
Yeah.
But then on
that's where he pulls out the ammo.
Yeah, he has
for the Tommy gun.
he's got the
drum.
The drum. Yeah. But it would have, instead of a drum, it would have like maybe like 5 bags of popcorn. But then on the top, there'd be a cutout of a bus, and then the bus is like a little salt shaker, and it just kind of says on there, on the bus, it just says, we ride the bus.
We missed the bus.
We missed the bus. They missed the bus. When's the next bus?
When's
and then
the next
you
bus?
use the bus as like a little salt shaker for your popcorn. And let's see. I think I'm trying to think if there was another big. I know he had like the little.
That cigarette case was that stopped the bullet.
Yeah.
That got passed down from Mr. Dundee to Johnny Dangerously.
Right.
and then I think
Danny steals
his brother
it.
ended up.
Danny steals it, which is like the whole reason why they're able to figure out who actually killed the DA.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
and but he puts
Tommy,
he puts gum in it instead of like cigarettes, because he gives that whole speech about like shouldn't be smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I don't know. Are there any other iconic things that we would want from this? I guess the only thing I would say is like if we get like a the a vinyl of the, like when you get like a single on a vinyl, so I guess like a single song, but it would have to have like the theme music from Johnny Dangerous.
Weird Al.
Yeah, the Weird Al song. I think that would be cool if we could get that. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like that kind of would cover most of the things.
Yeah.
I love the outfits and a lot of the stuff that they kind of wear, but I don't know if we can really market that in any way. It would be it would be a very, very inside joke, but it would be kind of funny if we did have on one wall like what do they call them? I think they're called like fatheads. Like it's a company that will, like, for football players or athletes.
Oh yeah, fathead,
right? Where it's like it's like a vinyl that you stick on your wall.
On your wall,
right?
Yeah.
So I want to have that, but like with a bowl, like coming, like looking like it's coming through the wall.
Oh, the Schlitz malt liquor bowl.
Yeah, but
like it's coming out of our room.
Yeah, but I don't really.
Oh, we can like paper mache it so it looks like it's busting through, like make it 3D.
Yeah, but I think the way that I would do it is like either we put it like in the employee only area, so it's like on the inside or on the outside, where it's like it's kind of in the back for us because we kind of get the joke.
Yeah,
but I think that would be kind of funny, and it'd be super inside joke, and anybody who would understand that joke, we'd be like, okay, you're cool, and you can be in the club. So
yeah.
Well, cool. I don't know. Do you have any last thoughts on Johnny Dangerously? I think, this is a real fun one.
No, I think we covered it. I mean, again, it brought back childhood memories of watching this and, being the mischievous, like, Fargan ice holes. And, then mom would be like, what'd you say? No, nothing.
Fargan. Yeah. Or arse holes. Or,
yeah. No, it definitely, this movie so far of everything we've watched, I think this one had the most, like, oh man, I remember that.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it referenced the commercials.
Yeah.
Then like some of the, I remember watching this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
And it just.
So many details in this movie. Like I said, we could spend longer than the movie itself talking about all the little details of this movie and things that make it, really funny, and, I think you're right. I feel like it was maybe just, it's been so long since I've seen this movie that like all of those memories just kind of came, they just came like flushing out like so fast that it almost caused like a little bit of an adrenaline rush of just like, man, it's so great. I can't believe I'm watching Johnny Dangerously. It's been so long. But, well, all right. This one, not a top shelf, but at the same time, like, man, great film. Like, really, really good.
Yeah, it was still worthy of our video
Absolutely.
store.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yep. And when we have Michael Keaton week or Michael Keaton month, and we celebrate his movies, this will definitely be one of the because everybody knows Batman, everybody knows Beetlejuice, but it'll be like, hey, you gotta watch this.
You gotta go with the deep cuts. I would say this is a deep cut. I think I'd be very curious. This might be one of those movies where when you get to meet somebody for the very first time and you're like, hey, so you ever seen or heard of Johnny Dangerously? And if they say yes, then you're like, we might be friends. Like, maybe. Like, let's see what your favorite scenes are from Johnny Dangerously, or, did you like Mr. Mom, or, some of those other movies. But well, all right. I guess we got a lot of work ahead of us then if we have to get this on all formats. I guess if you want to see if you can order up a fathead of a bull,
of a Schlitz bull
running to the wall, I'll start calling in on all these formats And yeah, I guess we'll close up the shop tonight. And yeah, again, just I guess review us, rate us, give us feedback. You can find us on all the podcast formats, and you can find us on Instagram, Top Shelf Video TX on Instagram, and on Blue Sky, I believe we're Top Shelf Video. And our website, you can also find our episodes there. You can email us there, topshelfvideo.com. At some point, hopefully soon, I'll have the membership cards done, and you can sign up for a membership. And I'm still working on getting all that set up. But you can also email us at topshelfvideopodcast@gmail.com. Like I said, love to get feedback, love to get suggestions, recommendations. Have you seen Johnny Dangerously, and what did you think? And what would you suggest?
And where did you find it?
Yeah, where did you find it? Like,
yeah, how did you find it?
Yeah, but yeah. So let's go ahead and close up the shop, and we will catch everybody at the next work shift. See you guys.
All right. See you
later.